Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is JD, and who's here with me? Nobody, because JD and Michelle totally forgot to record their intro for this special episode of We Watch Shudder. We got so carried away and frankly ran out of time with what we were doing. What were we doing? Guys, many of you are well aware, we were live tonight as an official sponsor of Timebomb Pro Wrestling presents Damaged Goods at the Sanctuary Events Center here in Fargo, North Dakota. Originally, we were just going to get some comments from a couple of people and then put out an episode, our normal episode for the day, including the movie review for What Josiah Saw. But we ended up having so much fun and talking to so many great people at that event that we decided to just put out this as a special bonus episode for you. We've got a whole collection of interviews here with various people associated with Timebomb Pro Wrestling. In fact, you are going to hear from several of the wrestlers on the show. You're going to hear from people who do play-by-play and color commentary on the show. And you're even going to hear from the man behind the magic, Mr. Eric Morrison, who is the boss and head man there at Timebomb Pro Wrestling. We got a great variety of interviews for you. I'm going to shut up, and we're just going to play those interviews now. Please forgive us if there are any minor audio issues. This is the first time we've tried to record out in a live environment, and it did get kind of loud and exciting on a couple of occasions, but I think things turned out pretty all right. Also, be sure to keep your eyes peeled. We will have that new movie review episode coming out later today for What Josiah Saw. It is coming. So here we are, Timebomb Pro Wrestling presents Damaged Goods live from Sanctuary Events Center. Take a listen to all the fun we had. Hello.
I told you, candy was a good idea. Yeah. On the record, candy's a good idea.
Candy was a fantastic idea.
We're recording? Who doesn't love candy?
I can't think of a single... people who hate life don't
JD
love
has
candy.
refused to eat a single piece so far, though.
I got the sweet blood,
okay.
Michelle. You
That's
know
okay.
this. I got the
It's
sugar
fine.
bloods. Anyway.
Maybe he is avoiding the candy during the podcast so he doesn't sound like he's got candy in his mouth.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job right now.
Well, I'm focusing very hard while people are trying to listen to you speak.
For those of you who are curious who that third voice is here with Michelle and I, that would be the anarchist Eric Cannon. Michelle and I are at the Sanctuary in Fargo for Timebomb Pro Wrestling tonight. We're happy to be a sponsor of this event and thrilled to be here. Eric, are you a horror movie fan? Do you like the scary, bloody, violent movies?
I do.
Okay, so let's just wrestling can talk later. Let's talk horror movies.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to do a podcast where it's not all wrestling talk.
Let's just hit the obvious question then right away. If you had to pick like your favorite horror movie, what would you go with?
Oh, wow.
I know it's a really difficult. Okay, let's.
I then
top
have a
three.
follow-up question.
Yeah, let's do top three. That makes it a little easier.
Top three, like that I believe are the best, or just like my personal favorites?
I want to hear your
that's a hard
personal
question.
favorites.
Yeah.
I want to know what you like.
Okay. I really enjoyed the original Saw movie.
Fuck
Okay.
yes!
Okay.
He hates it. He's wrong.
Oh, okay.
He's
Okay.
wrong. I love it. Yes,
So
you won
the-
me over.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus right away, Michelle.
Boom, boom.
If
the
you listen
original-
to previous episodes, you'll know.
The original, I think, was so good
Okay.
that everything after was kind of like, okay, we've seen
Yes.
this. But that's one.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe this is going to age me a little bit, but I also really enjoy all the Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
Some of them are, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of especially. I like number 2, which is it's the first Jason, but he doesn't have the mask yet.
Mm-hmm.
Something about Baghead Jason I really love for some reason. It's a great movie.
Baghead Jason.
That's
Yeah.
what they called me in high school.
That's weird.
no.
Jason isn't even your name.
I know. They were just like, you look like a Jason. Let's put a bag on it.
Do you have a favorite in the series?
Oh, that's tough. Is it? Which one of the Coreys was in it?
That was
Feldman?
Corey Feldman, and he was in, I want to say, number 4.
He was in a couple, right?
3 or 4. Yeah, 3 and 4, I believe.
I remember
Might have
those.
been 4 and 5, somewhere in that area.
Those ones I remember vividly. Like, and I don't know why.
Right.
I think
fair.
it's the whole head shaving
Yeah.
scene. That's like one of those things like,
Why that sticks
where
out.
does a small child learn to do this?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, there's a for
Let
me,
alone all the machete wielding and
that
such.
really sticks out because I remember being a kid in a video store, again, aging myself, and I remember on the back cover of the VHS box, there's a picture of him with his head shaved and the weird, like, sort of skull mask behind him, and that image is burned into my head.
Yes. And looking very ill in like all of the
Yeah.
post-film art that the kids create these days.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll go Saw 1.
Excellent.
Hard to pick one of the Friday the 13th.
You can have all of them.
So I'll take the whole.
We'll give you the
gamut.
franchise.
We'll let you.
Franchise is a huge part of horror fandom.
And I think if I was going to pick a third while being on the spot during this podcast,
And knowing that we'll mock you relentlessly if it's a bad answer.
well, that's what you're allowed. It's your show.
Between the two of us, we like all movies. We just
we,
very
just
much
never, we
disagree
almost
on
never
a
like
lot.
the same thing,
Yeah.
so it's
Okay,
it's
all
always
right.
exciting.
So, as you've seen from him disliking Saw and being
Yeah, I can't believe
wrong.
you don't enjoy the original Saw movie.
Well, the problem I had with the original Saw is I just happened to figure out what was happening by about 15 minutes into the movie.
Oh,
so
you-
I
Which
I
is
see
wild.
dead people. You were like,
yeah,
I get it.
and so like, had I not understood what was happening from basically the get-go, I probably would have been more into it. But yeah, it just didn't have the same effect for me because of that.
Understandable. Okay.
Disappointing, but understandable.
And the third. Wow. I wish I would have done some homework before.
We probably should have warned you that we were going to ask you
But
to
I
talk to
didn't
us.
want
It's okay.
to.
It's okay. It's all right. A little more spontaneity and
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Do you want your follow-up horror question?
Yeah,
while
let's
you
bounce
think?
around a little bit.
Because
Do it.
this one might maybe answer the question a little bit, but I want to know, out of all the horror movie villains that you can think of, who would you beat in a wrestling match?
Who would I beat?
Yep. Because
Oh.
I think a lot of them would probably kick your ass. I
was
mean,
gonna say-
Wow.
No,
Wow.
machete wielding Jason versus a wrestler.
Michelle's
I feel like
throwing
the proper
shade.
They have
answer.
weapons.
I feel like the proper answer would be none of them, right?
I think so.
Like
Yeah.
You
don't
wouldn't
wanna,
beat any of them?
Chucky, maybe, because it's a
Yeah.
small doll.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
could
think
handle that.
I think
that would
Chucky
be
you have a chance.
an entertaining portion of the of the evening for sure.
Yeah, but it's like, ooh, wow. Yeah, that is a great question.
I think Chucky would kick my ass, for the record.
Maybe
If we're taking away, let's say, take away the criteria of beating, just which horror villain would you like to have a match with?
Ooh.
Oh, I think the entertaining answer would be Pinhead.
Okay, yeah. Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you.
Every strike, every kick, everything has a little more oomph
what do you,
because
well,
of.
also, like, what are you going to do to him? You know, everything you
loves
do to
it.
him is going to...
That's going to
all
get
right.
sexual really fast. Are
We
you
are
okay
done
with
wrestling
that?
already. That was a quick turn.
I knew because you said you didn't want to talk wrestling, but I did need to know who would
No,
you
that's okay.
who
That's
would
a
you
great
fight.
question.
I'm sorry. Maybe
Way to make it weird, Michelle.
spoiler alert, but the Saw guy, Jigsaw, whatever his name is, I have forgotten, but like him laying there cancerous on the floor in the first Saw movie, could you take him?
That feels like easy pickings.
I think so.
Right?
I need to
Right.
know. I need to know what the
But-
level is.
But we don't know that he's that evil villain until it's too late.
Right, exactly.
Even better. So I think I'm fighting a
It's-
corpse.
it's
I'm
a straight
absolutely
up-
going to win.
Oh.
See? There's logic. I fight dirty.
Yeah, but plot thickens when the corpse like stands up and starts fighting back, right?
Yeah, and then I lose. Then I have
Oh.
spaghetti arms. There's no
So you
possibility.
only beat this particular villain.
if they're dead.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And I
would
mean-
hope you would win in those
I mean dead
circumstances.
as in not undead. If it's a zombie, I am also dying. When COVID happened, I decided to try working out because I needed to get ready for the apocalypse. Did not go well. I don't like running. I've learned.
You'll just have to be more tactful then.
I do.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
my
Yeah,
plan is to
creative.
just be the hero in the zombie apocalypse who sacrifices himself to the zombies for everybody else to get away.
There
Aw,
needs to be
I
a
appreciate that.
post-production. Oh,
Right?
insert right there.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sad music, slow motion.
Oh. So
I'm still thinking on this third
I
one.
was
while
gonna
we're
say,
going.
has it helped at all?
No.
we should talk at least just a little bit about why we are here tonight. Of course, Timebomb Pro
Maybe.
Wrestling presents Damaged Goods. awesome independent pro wrestling company here in the Fargo and Grand Forks area. You're wrestling Effie tonight?
No, Effie is wrestling me tonight.
Oh,
yes.
that's I see. That's
Yes.
I wrote your name down. I was taking notes to prepare.
Spelled my name properly and
I
everything.
What do
did.
you have planned for the premier political queer pro wrestler in America?
I'm not going to lie to you. I feel that Effie is the kind of person / performer / wrestler / enigma that you don't really plan for.
Right? Okay, that's fair.
And even if I was to try to, I'm not sure that it would go my way. So I'm just going to get in the ring and see how it goes.
Just see what happens.
Yeah.
It's
mean,
always going to be an adventure, that's for sure.
Well said.
What if he comes dressed like Chucky to the stage? Do you think that
I
would
feel
give you
my
more
odds have
motivation?
just increased.
Okay, cool.
infinitely.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to swap out his clothing. I'll be right back. Don't tell Effie.
Well, Eric, we appreciate you taking some time here before the show to chat with us for a little
We do
while.
still
on-
need the third movie,
on We
though.
Watch Shutter. Have you thought of a third movie?
You continue and I'll hammer one down here.
Sure. So, no, we just wanted to say thanks for talking with us. We're going to try to talk to a few other people. Good luck in your fisticuffs with Effie this evening. Those of you listening probably don't know, but I've actually had the pleasure of watching Mr. Cannon wrestle for going on probably about 15 years here now, all the way back to the very
Aging both
early
of us here.
first wrestling days. And it's always... You see this man's name on the card, and you're like, well, that's definitely one of the matches we really want to pay attention to. So I'm always looking forward to seeing you wrestle.
I appreciate that.
I've only seen Effie once before, which was on a previous Time Bomb show where he defeated something like 17 twinks, and then Cody Rice just bared him to death. And
I
it
am
was
not a twink. My odds continue to increase as this conversation
Absolutely.
goes on.
All right, so did you get that third one nailed down?
I think if I was going to pick, and this might be a stretch, but it's definitely a classic, and it's got some of these horror elements to it. I'm going to go with Jaws.
Oh, I love Jaws.
That absolutely
Yeah,
counts.
absolutely
Yes,
qualifies.
that's like
Yes.
super classic.
Yes.
We literally just put out an episode about a terrible shark movie that came out on Shudder. So we are very pro Jaws
Yeah,
right now,
yeah. There's
gonna be a lot of
especially
shark
in
movies.
comparison.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm,
It
we-
was really bad.
What we concluded is if you're after Jaws, the only shark movie I can take seriously is the shark movie that doesn't take itself seriously, right?
Fair,
Like
yes.
your weird gimmick shark movies, your Sharknado or your Sand Shark or
The one
whatever.
with LL Cool J.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like that I can deal with, but Jaws is so perfect. Like what
Sharks
are you gonna
on Wheels,
What are you
I'm
gonna
on
do
board.
after you've done Jaws? Like
And
what
I
else
feel like,
can be done?
And I feel like we should also specify Jaws, one and only one.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I have no idea what other movies you're talking about. There is
Touche.
only
Well
one.
said.
There is only
Only
Jaws.
one Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, thank you again so much for joining us today. Again, good luck with your match tonight. We're really looking forward to the show.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
you.
Thanks for the candy.
Yeah, for sure. Have some more.
I'm going to.
All right, guys. So we're back with another interview here at the Time Bomb Pro Wrestling Show at Sanctuary Events Center with We Watch Shutter. Talking to Garrett, one of the commentators here at Time Bomb Pro. You also may know him as the recently retired in an incredible spectacle of a match, deathmatch wrestler Deicide. Garrett, how are things today? Are you excited about the show?
Oh, absolutely. Every Time Bomb card that comes up, I'm like, Eric knows how to book a damn show.
Yeah,
he's
for
got
sure.
he's got a great fucking talent. He's regularly
Right.
every show so being as involved as wrestling as I am, and also still being a nerd fan of it, knowing what's coming up and not knowing not you know what I mean, not just the match is coming up.
Yeah.
I get excited to call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is going to be a great card. Bruce, is it? We've also got Bruce here. Bruce, grab this microphone.
Yeah,
Introduce
Big Daddy
yourself.
Bruce.
My microphone. I have nothing to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Bruce is our co-commentator. Bruce and Garrett do we host a podcast called We Watch Shutter. We talk about horror movies. Are you a horror movie fan, Bruce? Do you have a favorite horror movie?
Oh, man, absolutely. The
Okay.
Evil Dead series.
Okay. Yes. Which one's your favorite? If you had to pick one.
Okay, so One of my favorites was the first one, just because of what they could do with such a little budget.
For sure.
But the second one is my favorite.
Yeah,
the camp is so good.
It's the best of both worlds, right? It's,
oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Terrifying,
For
funny.
sure.
Like, it's great.
So here's more of a question for you then, Garrett, as a former deathmatch style wrestler. This is a question that I stole from Michelle in our interview with Eric Cannon. Yeah, you ask.
I'm
There
taking
it
the
is.
microphone.
There's the
Okay.
mic.
Okay. So, if you were going to wrestle somebody, who would you win against? You have to pick one person that you want to wrestle and that you know you will beat. You know you will beat them.
All right.
Like specifically a horror movie villain, because she totally blew that part of the question. You didn't even say. Now she's going to cry. Don't cry, Michelle.
It's fine. I have Xanax. We're good.
Put her on the spot like that. Put her on the spot like that. All right.
This is
Excited.
horror
what we
movie.
do.
Horror movie. I bet I whoop Chucky's ass.
That's
Yeah.
what Cannon said,
Yeah.
too.
Fuck Chucky.
Honestly,
I'll throw him into oblivion.
Everybody want to whoop up on some Chucky. I'm with
And
it.
that's just because I don't even know why. I just feel like I could take him.
We hate kids.
We hate
so,
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I honestly
That's
think,
fair.
I mean, he's little, and every time I watch a movie, I think, why hasn't anyone decided to beat his ass?
right?
Like,
for
just
sure.
grab him.
For
Like,
sure. You just
start
walk
beating
up
him.
and give him a kick. Oh, man, it sounds
Put
like we
him in
might
an
be
air
getting ready
fryer.
to start. Brady's doing some
We've
announcements
got a job
out there.
to do.
Yeah,
yeah,
guys,
we gotta run.
Yeah, we'll let you go. Thank you for stopping by and chatting with us. Have a great show. We'll talk to you again soon.
Check out Mal Death.
So we're here with another guest at Timebomb Pro Wrestling presents Damaged Goods at the Sanctuary Event Center in Fargo. Michelle, who's with us this time?
We are here with Kid Bandit, who I am a huge fan of now. I did not know who you were, and now I love you a lot.
I've been aware of you obviously through that. This is what, your second or third time here with Timebomb? Third time, yeah. It's the first time I've been able to get out to actually see you perform. It was fantastic. Congratulations on your win.
First victory here.
Yeah, Ricky Norin is, me and that gentleman go back, and he's a snake, so
Snake.
absolutely. So we watch Shudder. Are you a horror movie fan? We love horror movies on this podcast.
I am a pro wrestler, so naturally I have a really good ability to suspend my disbelief.
Right, yeah.
Wonderful.
So horror movies always make me want to put my back against the wall to make sure no one's behind me.
Absolutely. So
yes.
we've been talking to a few people and just asking some similar questions. Do you have a favorite horror film?
Yes, so it's an older film based out of a manga by Junji Ito called Uzumaki.
Ah,
Yes.
yes.
Now the movie doesn't do the manga justice.
Okay.
It's impossible with Junji Ito
it's
to
very
do
impossible.
anything justice.
Because the aesthetic by
yeah.
itself is what lends credence to the horror from their manga. So the movie itself is very eerie, but I think the crucial elements of what made the story itself frightening and scary wasn't able to translate on the movie screen, but I'm kind of a wuss, so it was enough for me to squirm.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I have forgotten the title of it, but it's one of the best ones, the hole one, where everybody has a hole that they fit perfectly into, the Junji Ito comic. I forgot the name, but it's The Rock, and
Yeah.
everybody just like slithers into it. Makes me so uncomfortable and pops into my head just at the most random moments. I love it.
Yeah, a lot of their stuff is like very eerie and like
Exactly. It's like, why is this making me so uncomfortable?
Yeah.
It definitely is, but I don't know why.
Right.
I would not go into the rock hole. Why am I afraid of the rock hole?
Oh, for sure.
that kind of horror is one of those horrors that it's unrealistic. So you're not afraid because it can happen. You're afraid because it came.
Why is it happening?
Yeah, why is it happening?
Yeah, I am a huge Junji Ito fan.
I love when things get into the anything bizarre,
Yes.
where it reaches that level of just what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on. It's good stuff. Michelle, what's the big question you've been
Okay.
asking? So Michelle,
I'm not going to screw up the question this time. I have been asking everybody this question. If there was a horror movie villain who you could wrestle and you think you would win, who do you think it would be?
Don't know their name. I believe it's Ophelia, but it's the main villain of The Orphan.
Oh, okay.
That one. I'm
There's a sequel coming out, I believe,
there
this
is a
month.
sequel coming
Yes.
out.
Oh, fantastic.
And I beat their ass there too. So
I love it. And so many other people said Chucky, and I like that you also went with a child.
Right, but you at least went with a person. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some.
Chucky used to be a person.
I guess sort of. Yeah. Fair enough.
I like the answer. I appreciate it.
And then, so one other thing, obviously, that we'd love to take a moment to talk about here is something that this is Michelle's first Time Bomb show. And one of the things, obviously, we love about this environment is not only is it great, awesome, fun pro wrestling, but at least to my knowledge, there are at least 3 openly LGBTQ plus performers on the show today. What does it mean to you to be able to bring that kind of representation to the pro wrestling world?
I hit a lot of minority check boxes. If
Sure.
that makes sense. I'm
Yes.
Asian American. I'm an immigrant. I'm 5'5", so I also check the short people representation box.
5'3"
For sure.
represent.
Yes,
and wearing matching necklaces.
Yes.
We're friends now.
So when I was a child growing up, watching TV, watching movies, and having to basically create fake relationships with the people or the icons that I grew up with because none of them completely embodied the person I am.
Yes.
So being in that position that I'm with my peers and we're helping inspire or influence people because we are the representation that they've been clamoring for. It hits different because I've wanted that representation. Like I wish there was a
Right.
kid bandit I could
Right.
look up to growing up that just checks all the boxes I wish I was,
For sure.
So
I
it means a lot.
love
yeah.
it so
Yeah.
much. Like
That's-
seeing the representation
Yeah.
because as a child I watched wrestling and there was nobody who was openly LGBTQ plus.
Well, and there was
at
also
all.
plenty of
Horrible,
the generally
horrible people.
socially acceptable nonsense of the time as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When he told me that there were at least 3 performers, I got very excited about that aspect of
the,
it. Like I love the representation.
We
that's shown.
thankfully live in a time that it's very progressive. Even if we still have a long way to go to
Right.
reach that apex, we have that nice little. Actually, not little because it wasn't that long ago where gay marriage wasn't legal.
Right.
So I'm glad that representation in wrestling is happening because this is an industry that changes lives.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
As much as people look down on it for in mainstream media, it's such a niche market, yada yada. It for the people that if you could hear that, people are chanting "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
because this means a lot to people.
Yes.
And when you have representation on the things that you're passionate about, it makes you even more passionate about these things.
Yes.
For sure. It's
I love it.
and it's just that beautiful thing where if you're not in a position where you're not actively focused on it and you're just enjoying what's happening and the show that's being presented, all of those other things just fall away.
Of course,
Right.
yes.
It doesn't matter anymore. And that's it's awesome to see that. It's awesome to have that as a part of Time Bomb. Even just awesome to have great pro wrestling here in Fargo. And we're so glad you were able to come out and perform
And I'm
for us
glad you
tonight.
won. I cheered
Yes.
very, very, very loudly because how dare they? Those terrible human beings I have never met before today.
They came out to Creed.
Right.
I
What
know.
an
How
awful,
dare they?
And they made us listen to a lot of it.
They made us get to all the way to the
Almost
chorus.
the whole
Yeah.
song. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just ridiculous. Well, Kid Bandit, thank you so much for joining us on We Watch Shudder.
Do you have
Sounds-
any final comments you would like to make? Anything to shout out?
no,
It sounds like whoever just won.
Yeah. Sounds like Dom just kept the title.
Yes.
Congratulations.
But yes, no, I'm good. Thank you for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thanks so much.
Right on.
you.
Take care. Back again at Time Bomb Pro presents Damaged Goods at Sanctuary Event Center, Fargo, North Dakota. Joining us right now, Mr. Damon Spriggle.
You already know it's the humble god, the humble one, Damon Spriggle, the greatest wrestler of all time, the greatest and the most humble wrestler in the world, Damon Spriggle. You already know.
That's absolutely right. I am a big fan of Damon Spriggle.
Of course.
I've seen this man just take some beatings and keep on coming. Watched him bleed all over the place for our amusement and keep on coming. A little bit of an underhanded attack there from Badger Briggs at the end of the match tonight. Are you going to see some more tension and activity there in the future?
Yeah, I agree. I'm very disrespectful, really blindsiding Shano. Sure, I use Shano a little bit in the match, but what humble god wouldn't use Shano? I mean, I am the greatest wrestler to ever live. I'm just using my best to, make money and win matches and
Absolutely.
get disrespected. I can't believe that Badger, of all people, really stopped the humble one's need for bloodshed.
Well, I was there. I was there for the death match between you and Badger at the aquarium here in Fargo. I am excited to see where this feud goes. And we watch Shudder. We talk about horror films. Are you a horror movie fan at all?
Not really, but we'll see what we.
Do you have any in particular that you happen to be a fan of, like one that stands out for you?
Or you can just tell us your favorite movie in general. We love all movies.
The last one I remember watching was some.
Hang on.
There's lots of
Jordan's
screaming
very
going on,
aggressive right now.
disrespecting, the humble god, but
Yes,
anyway. There was some movie. It was a movie about like some apartment building, and a girl got her hands nailed to the wall. It was on Netflix. I don't remember.
1BR.
1BR. That's the
Yep,
last one
that
I
movie
watched.
is
That was pretty
messed
good.
up.
I
Good
like
stuff,
that. I like
for
the,
sure.
I like the visuals. I plan to use a couple of them as inspiration for my matches, especially to Badger Briggs at whenever that
For
happens
sure,
next.
for sure. And then Michelle's been hitting everybody with another great question. We gotta get it in.
We got to get in because so far it's a pretty standard answer we're getting from people. If there is a horror movie villain out there, who would you wrestle and you think you would win against?
I think I would dump. God, who's the guy from Hellraiser?
Pinhead.
I think I would dump Pinhead on his head. Stab through.
Drive all those pins even further.
Saito, easy. Just like I dumped Connor Hopkins on his head.
Look,
Made rest
and this is why I love Damon Spragle, because we've asked this question of 4 different people right now, and the only answers we've gotten were 2 people for Chucky and 1 for the little girl from The Orphan.
Well, I'm not surprised these jabronis can't fight. So.
We did get a slight Pinhead nod, but then we decided it would get sexual and a little too weird because Pinhead's into it.
It could be. He does like a little pain.
I mean, you just gotta use your tactics, right? I mean, we watched the
Absolutely.
Time Bomb show today. We know. You just gotta use what you got.
For sure. Well, Damon, thank you so much for taking just a moment to join us and chat a little bit. Again, congratulations on your win tonight. Always looking forward to see you perform.
Thank you. Anyone who disrespectful the humble one, the humble god, Damon Spragle, is going to get dropped on their neck like the jabroni they are. Thank you.
Thank you, man. One more time, coming to you live from the Sanctuary Events Center in the aftermath of Time Bomb Pro presents Damaged Goods. Here with Jordan, and sneaking up behind him, we got Brady, the ring announcer.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Time Bomb Pro presents Damaged Good, brought to you by We Watch Shudder.
Oh, look at that. Professional plug
Brady
and everything.
paid me $25 to come sit down with you folks and tell you why I should be the next Time Bomb champ.
Why don't you tell us, Jordan, why you
Well,
should
most
be the next
importantly,
Time Bomb
everybody
champ?
likes to act like they want to be in a fight out there, and I'm the only one that's out there fighting people. I think Time Bomb Pro was built on people out there beating each other up and taking an ass whooping.
It sure was.
And you know what? I'm the one for that belt. And I'm looking at Dom across the room selling merch, sad and alone, beat, already defeating. And I hope one day I get to see him in that ring if Brian Keith doesn't finish him in October in that steel cage match.
I'll be looking forward to seeing that challenge as well. And if it is Brian Keith, I mean, come on, Jordan's got to get his chance, right?
I got his number too.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to tell you something. I have been doing this for way too long to respect any of these people. Because I'm going to tell you what, wrestlers don't respect each other. They'll shake each other's hands, say they love you. Good match, great to see you. But when it comes down to it, it's about who's holding that gold and who's raising their hand at the end of the show. And unless you got merch lines, there ain't nothing worth coming out here for. And that gold belt is everything I want. Time Bomb Pro's my home. And guess what? That's my sign on the door that says welcome. That world title.
Excellent. So, and we watch Shudder. We're big horror movie fans. Are you a horror movie fan?
I love
Jordan?
horror movies.
What's your favorite horror film?
High Tension.
High Tension. That's a good one.
choice.
Excellent choice.
And
Violent,
close.
brutal.
And then I'll give you 3.
All right.
Lake Eden,
Lake Eden.
Okay.
Okay.
and Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby is creepy as shit
I
still
just
to
watched
this
that for
day.
the first time.
We got one more question that we got to get your take on.
Let's hear it.
Hit him with it, Michelle.
Okay. Any horror movie villain that you can wrestle and you think you would win against, who are you picking?
Oh my God. Chucky.
That's
That
a
is
trifecta for
so
Chucky.
many people are voting for
that's
children.
Easy. That's easy. Also, I would. I think I would beat the shit out of Hellraiser.
Pinhead?
How are we consistently
In the sense that, like,
getting-
I feel like I'm comfortable in my own brain.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
he
I-
ain't getting in.
Well, also, I mean, their whole thing is sadomasochism, right? So he's
Yeah.
probably just going to sit there and let you beat on him.
Yeah, I might get off a few times in that fight.
He might get off
That's
a
what I
few
said.
times, too.
I said it would get very sexual. So far it's children and sadomasochists. So
Well, I would kill the child, and then maybe me and Hellraiser get weird.
yeah, you guys like hold hands and everything's cool.
Well,
yeah.
Jordan, any final comments for our We Watch Shudder listeners and Time Bomb Pro Wrestling fans?
I love you, Time Bomb. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on We Watch Shudder, because I fucks with that.
Right on, man.
And I hope to see y'all in October, because it might be real spooky.
Oh, we'll be back again.
I want to see.
We've got-
I want to see some blood. I want to see some guts. That's all.
We've
I'm
got
saying.
some big October plans for our show too, so it would be
All
a
right,
good
rock and roll. Thank you for having me,
conglomeration.
Thank you so much,
you.
Jordan. Take care. Have a great night. All right, so one more time, coming to you live from the Sanctuary Event Center, Fargo, North Dakota. Time Bomb Pro presents Damaged Goods. Joining us right now, he challenged tonight for the Time Bomb Pro Wrestling title. Unfortunately, unsuccessful in that effort due to perhaps some nefarious, underhanded means. Mr. Brian Keith, not coming out victorious tonight, but you had some strong words for the champion and big things coming up here in the future for us. Tell us all about it.
Man, you said it all, man. I ain't got to say too much. I'm disappointed, let down. Thought those guys were about honor, competition, and I got swindled. So, this is a horror podcast.
Absolutely.
I tell you what,
It
if
was
you're coming
horrific.
in October, you guys going to love it. It's going to be a horror show.
It's a steel cage match is what the announcement was
Yes, sir.
tonight. Brian Keith against Time Bomb Pro champion Dominic Guarini. It's, man, tonight was rough and tumble as it was. You put that steel cage in there, skin's gonna be lacerated, blood's gonna be spilled. It's gonna be a good time.
This is my first Time Bomb show, and I do have to say that I was expecting more blood based on what I had seen. So I hope in October that this place is painted red.
We'll give you what you want.
I want more blood. I wore black just in case.
Oh, you gotta wear
I was-
white for the blood. That's
Yeah,
you
when you come in
gotta.
October, wear white, sit on the front row. I promise.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
You'll
I
be
want
covered in Dom's
I want
blood.
all the fluids.
Wait a minute. Well, that's maybe
well,
not all
we did
the
talk
fluids.
about that on the Guar
We
episode,
did.
so maybe not all the
We
fluids.
did. So, like I said, we talk about horror movies here on We Watch Shudder. Do you have a favorite horror film?
Man, growing up, I was scared as hell of the movie It.
Okay, like the original
Fair.
miniseries with
the
Tim
one
Curry.
that was 2 VHSs
Yes,
and shit.
yes.
Scared the shit out of me,
Oh,
bro.
Oh, dude, Tim Curry as Pennywise
Yeah.
haunts me to this
Kill
day.
me, dog. Kill me.
Oh,
Have you
man.
seen the remake?
I have, and I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the part
I was
2.
curious,
I gotta
not
go
part
back
2?
and watch the part 2, but
Oh,
I was
enjoyed it.
curious if you were so scared that you hadn't watched it.
I just-
no.
So.
I think if you were a young person when that first It miniseries happened, that affect a lot. I think I was like
Dog,
13.
What got
when
me
it
was the
happened.
scene when homie was taking the shower, and he
Yes.
I was like, I couldn't take a shower anymore,
It's
bro.
brutal.
I was like, forget that. I'm gonna just go outside with the hose, bro.
Right,
I'm not
right.
over
Wait
this.
for it to rain and bring out some like
I
swab.
couldn't be by gutters.
Yeah.
I was thinking, he's gonna pull me into the gutter or something, bro.
It was
killing me.
They all
It
float
was
down
rough.
here.
Yeah.
So it was that.
That's an excellent choice.
I love Halloween.
Oh, dude,
Of course.
Michael Myers, like the original John Carpenter's Halloween, is not just my favorite horror movie. It's my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah,
I
I'd
love
agree.
that movie. I'm not the biggest fan of the franchise after that, but that original Halloween is a motherfucker.
Nice. It's good
God,
stuff,
it's
man.
so good.
Especially for him not to be like a supernatural character.
Right,
Or something.
yeah.
He's just like a human being, just a regular human being.
He's just a psychopath who
Yep.
was broken from day one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same.
love that.
Same, though.
That, and then Jeepers Creepers, bro. Jeepers Creepers scared the shit out of me.
It was
as a
good.
kid,
Jeepers
man.
Creepers, how'd you get those
How'd you
peepers?
get- You just saying that gave me chills right now. 'Cause I remember at the end where he cut out homie's eyes and he was looking through homie's eyes.
I love that ending so much because that was still at a time where even watching horror movies, you kind of expected a happy ending.
Uh-huh.
And you kind of thought like, no, they're going to break it out. And then his eyes are just fucking gone.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like that was back in the time where you still thought like, yeah, but like happy endings happen,
no,
right?
not at all.
No, that's
so good.
grotesque
Good
and
choices.
vicious. Yeah, excellent. So Michelle has been hitting everybody with an awesome question that I didn't even think of, and I'm very jealous, but I got to let her hit you with it.
And yet we've gotten consistently the
It's been
same two
surprising.
answers. So
Right.
I'm curious if you break the mold. Okay, horror movie villain that you have to wrestle and you think you can win against. Who you picking?
Horror movie villain that I have to wrestle and I think I could win against.
Yep.
Wow, that's a hard one, dog.
Yeah.
Man. I'm gonna think.
Yeah,
give me a
good.
second.
You're the first one slightly stumped, so that does mean that
Right.
you might get creative with
Absolutely,
it, though.
yeah, there've
because
been a-
I won't tell you what people have voted so far, but it has been pretty apparent that they would win.
From my first thought in my head, I went Chucky.
Yes! Oh my God!
That's the one.
Everybody went with Chucky.
But I'm not gonna go with Chucky. I'm gonna go
Thank
different. I'm
you.
gonna go.
Thank you.
If it was a horror movie villain and I have to wrestle and think I could beat him.
Yeah, because otherwise you're dead. That's why
That
you
is
have
true.
to pick them. But you are going to die
Yeah.
if you lose.
Let's go
so.
with fucking Leatherface.
Oh, man. Ooh.
Leatherface.
Man, you just stepped up to the top of the pack here.
Let's
Like,
go with
that's.
Leatherface.
Ooh.
I hope you break out a
That's-
chainsaw in October.
I cut him from ear to ear, man.
That's.
Either that or Jigsaw.
I gotta respect.
He's in a
that
wheelchair.
choice.
I'd fuck him up.
I said that I would
That's a
fight
good
Jigsaw
point.
from the first movie if he was the corpse, where I still think he's
Like
dead.
before he woke up.
Yeah, but then he'd wake up and I would die. I would die
No.
horribly. I'm not
No,
good at fighting.
Man, Leatherface is definitely the ballsiest answer we've
I
gotten. That man
love
is
that
tough.
answer.
Yeah.
That man is tough, so it's nice that you're willing to step up to
I feel
that
like he's
challenge.
tough, but he's vulnerable. You know,
For
He's
sure.
really
He's
slow.
like a baby.
Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
definitely would have the.
He's not smart
I think most
at all.
people would have the intelligence.
I'm a bounty hunter.
But, right.
I put him in some bear trap, some type of shit, catch him slipping.
Oh, I love that.
Oh man, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is also one of my favorite horror movies of all
Absolutely.
time.
I actually had a
Mm-hmm.
collab with the homie Jonesy
Okay.
on Twitter.
Okay.
We did a horror long sleeve. It was me versus
Oh,
Leatherface.
nice! I'm gonna have
And it
to.
was sick,
Is it still available?
It's not available.
Of
no more.
course,
It's an
it's not.
exclusive,
Do
man.
you have like
look
a
'em up.
secret link somewhere that you can hook us up with?
Man.
Like an OnlyFans subscription. I will subscribe for that. Just get me the backstage access because I'm so intrigued.
Let me
Oh,
know.
that's awesome.
Oh my god, I
Oh.
love the answer of Leatherface. Like I'm still pondering over how good that is because like even if you lose, you go down in history.
Yeah, as the motherfucker who wanted to take on Leatherface head to head.
Absolutely.
Exactly. They're like, he died. But of course, and like we love it and thank you.
Yeah.
Like as your limbs are everywhere and he's wearing your face. I love it.
Yeah,
I love that
Now
choice.
He's the bounty hunter.
Yeah,
He earned it.
exactly.
He'll
Yeah.
do it.
He's going to go cage match against some people.
Awesome. So, Brian, you got any last words for We Watch Shudder fans and Time Bomb Pro Wrestling fans going into the big cage match coming up in October?
Man, keep supporting We Watch Shudder. Keep supporting Time Bomb Pro. If you can, be here in October, please, so that we can give you the horror show that you guys desire.
More blood.
I promise you all will be covered in Dominic Garini's blood.
Yeah.
And
Excellent.
maybe even Kevin Cool if he tries to get in my business one more time.
Right on, right on. I
Anybody's
love to
blood.
see it, man. I love
Yeah.
to see it. Brian, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. It was awesome. Again, sorry we didn't see the victory for you, but we'll be pulling for you when the cage match comes around, my
I saw
friend.
the shit talking after, and that's what really mattered.
We'll get him next
Yeah.
time, man. I promise
Yeah.
you.
Fantastic. Thank you
you.
so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so one more interview tonight from Time Bomb Pro Wrestling presents Damaged Goods at the Sanctuary Event Center, Fargo, North Dakota. The event is wrapped up. Everything's torn down. Things are finally starting to calm down for everybody except this man right here. This is the man, the myth, the legend behind Time Bomb Pro Wrestling, Eric Morrison. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hell of an intro there. Thank you.
you.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. So first of all, amazing show tonight. Always a good time with Time Bomb Pro Wrestling. And we're coming back again in October. Is that correct? Tell us a little bit about what's coming up.
Yeah, so Thursday, October 13th, we're coming back. As it was announced, steel cage match, Brian Keith versus Dominic Guarini. Also featuring Kevin Koo versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
Speedball's coming in.
Yep,
Oh,
so,
shit, son.
Yep, so it is going to be wild. We announced it at the show. It's not going to be announced on Twitter for a few days, so tickets are for ringside are pretty much already sold out. So
That's awesome.
I guess if you snooze, you lose on that one.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Awesome event tonight. One of the things that we were lucky to talk with some people about is obviously, first of all, just having an awesome pro wrestling company like Time Bomb here in the Red River Valley is a great thing to have. But we are especially proud of the fact that we have a promotion that is booking on a regular basis LGBTQ plus talent. We had at least 3 performers on the show tonight with Effie and Kid Bandit and Devon Moore, all openly out people. What does it mean to you as the person behind Time Bomb Pro to not just have this awesome promotion happening, but to be able to bring that element into things in the community and in pro wrestling for us in Fargo?
For me, it feels like indie wrestling focuses on tokenizing people a lot,
right.
And it just seems like, oh, it's Pride Month, let's book all the gay talent, let's do a gay show. I don't know, that just never sits right with me. I do want to give a lot of credit to First Wrestling, Eric Cannon, who is here tonight. They do an amazing job on the same thing that you just mentioned.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
I mean, just watching their shows, I strive to be like that, because I see the crowd that I have coming to my shows, and I do feel very proud that the crowd coming to my shows isn't like stereotypical wrestling, like just old white guys yelling insults at people and shit.
Yeah.
I have like a diverse crowd. I'm sorry if I can't swear. So.
Oh no, swear all you want.
Okay.
Yeah, this is,
we have
this is a
definitely
fucking
gotten
explicit
like,
podcast.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
And thought maybe we need trigger warnings for this episode a few times.
So-
Shout out to the sadness.
So yeah, it's just, to me, like, I see the crowd that I have, and I know that there's a lot of different people in that crowd, and I know that they want to be represented. And I mean, that's what wrestling's all about, is just like having heroes that you can look up to and stuff like that. Even on the independent scene, where you can go walk up to Effie and talk to him and stuff like that, it's still cool to know that your personality is represented in something as ridiculous as pro wrestling.
Yeah, and then you also get to have these moments where, like when the main event was going into the ring tonight, I was just kind of hanging back because we were trying to get a hold of Kid Bandit to do an interview with us, and just getting to observe like these genuine moments of interaction, especially for the fans of wrestling who are in that community, who, you know, we've mentioned in a couple of our other interviews tonight. You know, wrestling by design at a lot of places, though, has not always been friendly.
No, absolutely
to
not.
Minority groups of any kind.
Yeah.
So, for to be able to have those moments, and to just as a fan to be able to watch that happen, like something. It's more than just an awesome wrestling show. There's also a social element to
100%.
it. It's a community element.
And like ever since like booking Kid Bandit and stuff, like I have noticed like there's a lot more like trans kids coming to shows and stuff. And to me, it's not like about money. It's not like, oh, these new people are coming. Like to me, it's like these people, because like I come from the hardcore scene, so it's like I want people who don't feel normal. Like I want them to feel normal in situations, and I hope that Time Bomb is doing something like that, bringing, because to be completely honest, like there's a lot of wrestling in this area, and not a lot of them are bringing that representation to the table.
For
so
sure.
I hope that Time Bomb can be the place where people feel welcome and all that, no matter.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's just. I mean, on top of that, just consistently bringing in quality wrestling, right? Like
Absolutely, like I can bring in like groups like that, but I also want to make sure that they're talented. Like I'm bringing in the top talent from all over the country and stuff like that, but I also want to make it's a tough line to straddle there with representation and talent, and I think we've found a really good spot where our cards are top notch, and there's also just ridiculous amounts of representation on all fronts.
The fan base is awesome. This is Michelle's first ever Time Bomb show.
Well, what did you think?
I am here too.
Sorry, I got a little carried away
that's
there.
okay.
I understand.
I liked listening, and then I was like, oh right, I am also holding a microphone. I was enjoying the back and forth. So this was incredible. I am not great at like voicing things, which is weird because I do a podcast. But this was just so much fun. And I used to go to a lot of wrestling shows.
Okay.
I have never been to an indie wrestling show.
It's a whole different beast.
To prepare for this, JD had sent me the YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
And my very first introduction was Effie and the Twink Gauntlet.
What a fabulous
And
that was.
I was immediately drawn in, and then I also messaged JD and said, I see you in the back. And he said, yes, I'm wearing this shirt, and I'm holding it to you. And then he sent me a couple other clips, Kid Bandit with the Keyblade.
It was the barbed wire Keyblade video that went viral.
Exactly. And so a bunch of those. And so I came here kind of expecting something, and then it was so much more and very, very fun. But I do have to say we need more blood at the next one.
Well,
I need blood.
So the art to it is you hold off on it for a little bit, and then you make
It worked because this was my first show, and I was like, there was blood everywhere on YouTube. There's going to be blood. And then there wasn't. And so now I have to come back.
So with the steel cage match, I can promise there will be a lot of blood.
Oh, there will be blood.
I hope. Yeah. I want a jugular punctured. I want a paramedic on scene who does not know if everybody will be okay. I definitely need things to get wild, I think.
Well, you're definitely coming to the right shows for sure.
YouTube introduced me. I'm ready.
5 years now into the history of
So
Timebomb?
October will be 4 years.
4 years.
Yep,
Started up at Ojada Records in Grand Forks, no ring deathmatch shows.
About as bare bones as you could possibly get, just because I'm broke.
and now look at what we have.
Yep.
Now, right.
Yep.
And the fans keep showing up. Right. I think one of the greatest things about tonight's show, there was a moment here right after the show was done where just spontaneously out of nowhere, Kid Bandit and a bunch of fans all just started singing the Pokemon theme song.
And they did skip a line, and I resent them
Michelle's
for it.
been bitter about it ever since it happened. Just emblematic of that sense of community that's built up around
That's 100% what I want. Like, I want just like what you just described. Like, that's the weirdest shit ever. And like anywhere else, you'd probably get made fun of for doing it. But I want this to be a place for like weirdos to come watch weird stuff, because wrestling is fucking weird.
Right.
Being able to sit out here with all the wrestlers sitting at their table, definitely you feel the community.
Yeah,
And you feel that obviously there is some I guess played up hostility.
Of course.
But there's like a lot of love involved there too, and it's just really great.
It's passion for everybody. It's passion from everybody involved on the production side, from the audience side. I have yet to see a Timebomb show where the audience wasn't just feverish. And
Absolutely.
awesome.
And I do think the passion, like, it's obvious that like I put an incredible amount of passion into putting these cards together, and like everything I do, I want to be top notch. Like, look at the venue we have. Like, I try to get the best.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I try to get the best posters I can get. Like, I just really, for me, it's not about the money. Like, I just want, like, if I can make this self-sustaining, I'm totally happy with my life. Like, that's all I want, is I just want to put on these shows that make people happy, and I want to not lose my ass, but also I don't need to make a ton of money.
Yeah,
so.
and if we can do even a little bit to open that door to a few more people and bring them out to an awesome event. Michelle's husband John came out and joined us tonight.
What'd you think?
He had a blast. Yeah, it's guys. If you
make
you've
fun
seen
of me a lot for some of the things that I was yelling, such as "suck his dick."
That's a classic one. That's a classic Timebomb chant.
It, though, so I was just standing in the corner yelling, "Suck his." Okay, I guess I'm done.
Suck his
Don't
dick and twist his
proceed.
dick are very popular.
Twist his dick. Everybody got behind twist his
that's
dick.
a very
Nobody
popular one.
cared when I said "suck his dick," and then I just had to give up. So
well,
that sucked.
I can't tell you guys how much the sponsor stuff helps. Like, having to pay for flights and stuff like that, like the sponsors make that possible. So I thank you guys so much.
Well,
for
and
that.
we'll be happy to come back again in October and do it
Absolutely.
all over again.
We
It's
will?
gonna be an awesome. We will. Yes, Michelle.
I will send you money.
Whether it's you or me or one more time, then tell everybody what's going on. It's October when?
October 13th, which is a Thursday. We're going to be back at the Sanctuary Event Center with a steel cage match: Brian Keith versus Dominic Guarini, the grudge match for the title. Kevin Koo versus Speedball Mike Mike Bailey with a lot more to be announced. So
sure.
the show itself is probably going to be announced within a few days.
Yeah,
so
don't forget, guys.
We can call this a We Watch Shudder
this is a
exclusive.
Shudder exclusive.
Yep.
The
So-
few people who were
Hey,
here
we
tonight
watched the
know,
Shudder
but-
exclusives, and now we deliver.
Yep.
Right
So-
on. Well, sir, I know you're a busy man.
Wait.
Oh, you got things to
We
ask?
did not even talk about horror.
Oh,
I do
we
need to know
did.
your favorite horror movie. I that's all I care about. None of this wrestling stuff. I don't care.
Hey,
Tell me about your horror movies.
We care. We very
care.
much
We
care.
do care a lot.
This
we
is
are
a
very
tough
kind
question.
people. If you could try to narrow it down to even 3.
I think my favorite horror movie would be Jun Kasai versus Masada.
That's pretty close,
at
yeah.
WrestleMania weekend.
So these might be a little bit of cop out answers, but honestly, one of my favorites of all time is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's legendary.
Yeah,
That's not a cop out answer.
Because honestly, look at what I'm doing. I feel like shit like that is like pretty much the equivalent in horror.
My
like
favorite thing about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is when I watched this documentary they made about it in 1984, and they basically everybody involved admits, oh yeah, that poor Marilyn Burns, we just tortured that girl for 3
because they have no
weeks."
money.
Yeah.
I do have some good news for you. When we interviewed Brian Keith and asked him which horror movie villain he would like to wrestle that he thinks he could beat, he chose Leatherface.
Well, I would have to disagree with him on if he could beat them.
But here's the thing: we agreed that he would probably lose, but he would be legendary. And I
Yep.
do need you to arrange.
I
this.
would be I would be remiss, of course, if I didn't point out the wrestling super nerd fact, which is Eric is currently wearing a King of the Death Matches shirt. Those of you who are deep fans will know it as the Kawasaki Dream from way back in '95 or '94.
Yep, 95.
And the reason I bring it up is because
They have a wrestling Leatherface.
There was a Leatherface
Yep.
wrestler there, yes, and he whipped his chainsaw around and
Yep,
sent the
yep.
Japanese crowd. There's no chain on it. It's all
No,
a gimmick.
that was a happy face.
No,
I thought there was a
it's
chain on it, and I was totally on
Super
board.
rad,
Just
yeah.
cutting the ring in half. Oh, that would be some show
And so
stuff.
one last question, Eric. I'm going to modify this one just a little
Ooh,
bit.
I was
because
gonna
Eric's
say, how do we ask?
Eric's
Okay.
so what we've been asking is Michelle's been asking people, asking the wrestlers, if you had to pick one horror movie villain to wrestle, who do you think you could beat? And I think the question I want to ask you as a promoter and booker is if you were going to book a wrestling match, one-on-one contest between horror villain A and horror villain B, Freddy versus Jason style, what would your dream horror match be, Eric? Who are we booking for Time Bomb Pro?
Ooh. What is the name of the clown from Terrifier?
Art.
Art. I'm going to go with Art versus...
I'm so proud I knew that, and
Captain
I'm not
Spaulding.
100%.
Art versus
Whoa.
Spaulding. We got some scary clown
And I am
action
signing
going
off with
here.
that one.
Eric's got to run,
love
guys.
that.
He's got so much work to do, and we got to get out of here. Eric, thank you for having us. We'll be
Thank
back
you.
again in October.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Take care.